Hi humans, it's still Hannah with some books that I should have loved but didn't. These were books that on paper sounded perfect for me, but then in practice, in reality, were such major letdowns. I saw Elliot Brooks do this video a while back and it got me really thinking about the books that I personally thought were perfect for me on paper and sounded incredible and then disappointed the crap out of me. And I had a list, and then the more I thought about it, the bigger that list grew. And if I talk about all the books that I came up with, we will be here forever. So I might do a part 2 in the future. But for now, I just kind of focused it down on the ones that elicited the most emotional responses out of me and the biggest like disappointment. And I'll start with a book that I don't have physically on me because I'm afraid I forget it. But the first one is Mort by Terry Pratchett. And this was not a bad book. I enjoyed this book. But the reason that this is on the list is because I thought I would lose my mind over it. I thought I would be so obsessed with this the same way that I was obsessed the first time I read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The first time that I read, I don't know, a Neil Gaiman book, which I think was The Graveyard Book, the first book. And then the second book that I read, The Ocean at the End of the Lane, that one I adored. And I was hoping for that kind of emotional response. And I didn't get it. I was like, yeah, this is cool. But I've read better. I was expecting more. And I think it's because I had this really high expectation. Although I still enjoyed it. I wasn't as attached to it. And I will still pick up a bunch more Terry Pratchett. Like I intend to pick up more than just one more Terry Pratchett book because I do think that there is so much potential, and the humor, I can see the type of humor. He has a similar quirkiness to Neil Gaiman and Douglas Adams, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy's author, but they are all unique in their humor and in their I think it's the English dry humor that I'm very interested in because I'm pretty sure all three of them are English. Yes, Terry Pratchett is English. I'm positive. So I don't know. I'm just hoping that I find a new favorite author in him, and I'm determined to go through it. But we'll go in no specific. You know, I'll just go with what is in front of me first. But the next one that I have on this list is Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami, and I never finished this book. I stopped at 110 because I wanted to stab myself rather than continue reading this book, which was 460 something pages. So I had another, I don't know, 350 pages to go, and I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I was done with this book. And I thought I'd love it because let me read to you the back. You know, there's a word in here that should have given it away that I don't know. Anyway, so here we meet a teenage boy, Kafka Tamura, who is on the run, and Nakata, an aging simpleton who is drawn to Kafka for reasons that he cannot fathom. As their paths converge, acclaimed author Haruki Murakami unfolds readers in a world where cats can talk, fish fall from the sky, and spirits slip out of their bodies to make love or commit murder in what is a truly remarkable journey. So aside from one word in here, everything sounded very interesting, and it sounded like something that I should enjoy. We have talking cats, we have fish falling from the sky, we have spirits leaving their bodies to do God knows what. I'm intrigued. But I didn't get very far into this because I hated this. I hated the writing style. I hated the dry tone. I hated the main character for being such a little creep. I hated the male gaze that is so excessive in here. There is nothing in it I enjoyed about this. And I don't think Murakami is for me, but also it's one book. But I hear very similar opinions about, for example, about the male gaze and about the certain tone in other books. And I don't know if he's just for me, but there is a book about a library, and it's meant to be, I think, a horror or a fantasy. I don't know. I don't know if it's like a haunted library, an enchanted library. I don't know. But I'm intrigued, and I want to read that book of his just to give him another try. And if I will give him another try, that will be the book that I read. If I'll actually insert a picture of it on here with the title and stuff because I don't remember the exact name. So if you want to understand what book I'm talking about, it's this one. And then another book, which you'll see a bit of a theme, but Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, and this I thought I would love because in theory, going to a coffee shop that transports you through time, and there are rules to the time traveling in the coffee shop, and it's a coffee shop. First of all, it's a coffee shop and time travel, so it's like a cozy time travel. What? Sold. But no, I want a refund. Here, take it back. Take it back. I don't want it. I don't want it. I was so upset. My notes, I think, are basically just me complaining. Like these tabs, I don't know if you can see them. These tabs are, I think, just me complaining. How is this a more logical solution than going home and looking for the letter in, okay, kind of, yeah. Not going to read the rest because it's a spoiler, but I was like, and this one, WTF was that? Just realized Fumiko, that's one of the characters, I don't know how to pronounce it. Just realized Fumiko is meant to possess both beauty and smarts. What smarts were these? Dollar store smarts? Not my wittiest comment, but I think it captures my frustration at the characters. And I'm like, what? Also, since when did ghosts cast curses? Fair point, Hannah. Fair point past me. I hate how we keep getting explanations of their thoughts as if we couldn't clearly guess them. Yeah, so that was a big problem for me. The conversation, the dialogue, the way that the author just kept telling us the same thing over and over and over. I didn't forget, like 5 pages ago, I did not forget that X is the case or that Y. I didn't forget. Why are you telling me again for the millionth? I'm with you. We're on the same page, bro. I'm there with you. But yeah, I just felt like I was being spoken to as a child by the reiteration over and over again. Also, I had mentioned this in the video that I reviewed this on, and it's on my old channel before I detached them. But I mentioned that I didn't enjoy the dialogue, and I thought that the dialogue was really weird by calling each other, the characters would call each other bro and sis, and it just doesn't feel natural and it's weird. And then someone in the comments actually told me that, yeah, like in translation it sounds really weird, and it's because this is Japanese translated. In translation it sounds weird, and I'm pretty sure Murakami originally writes in Japanese. I don't think he writes in does he write in English? I'm actually not sure if he writes in English or if he's just originally Japanese. I don't remember. But Japanese literature, I had a few more on here that upset me or that really disappointed me, and I'll just list them off. I'm not going to talk about them too much, but I was really disappointed by Convenience Store Woman. I thought I would love that. I was pretty disappointed by Kiki's Delivery Service, which is like a witchy middle grade, and I thought I would love that. Couldn't even get through it. Horrible. I think that's it. Anyway, the point is, all 4 I really didn't like, and I had a problem with the writing style, and I had a problem with the dryness of the tone and the dryness of the writing. And they're all different authors. Every single one of them, different author. And it always felt very childish. So Kiki's Delivery Service, the witch kept calling herself cute. Like, she kept calling herself cute. And here, I felt like I was being treated as a child, and then here it's just really dry. And then in Convenience Store Woman, it wasn't the worst, it was dry. Like, they're all different writing styles, but I had very similar problems with all of them. And so my only conclusion now, the only thing that all of this has led me to believe, is that maybe Japanese literature isn't for me in terms of style, and maybe the reason for that is because it does not do well in translation. But I'm not going to learn Japanese to read Japanese literature. I'm not that committed to I really want to like Japanese literature, but I'm not that committed. I'm not going to learn a new language to appreciate their literature. Although, with all of this being said, I really want to read Cursed Bunny, which I'm pretty sure is Japanese. I really want to read Cursed Bunny. It sounds so cool. And here's my problem with all these books though. They all sound so cool in theory, conceptually. Incredible concepts, incredible ideas. Execution? Shoot me now. I didn't enjoy them. Convenience Store Woman, I didn't hate. I think the blurbs really did convenience store woman a disservice, because the blurbs made it sound like you are getting diamonds in a book, and it wasn't. I opened and I found coal. It wasn't compressed yet. The process wasn't done. So yeah, I'll probably still read Cursed Bunny though. Like, I know there are 4 different authors, so it might just be a corner of literature I don't enjoy, but I refuse to give up. I will find Japanese literature that I enjoy. Anyway, let's move on. So what a rant. This is why I didn't want to include all the books that I wanted to talk about here in depth on here, because I swear we won't go home. I'm sorry for my dogs barking. If you can hear them, I really apologize. But the next book is Bluets by Maggie Melson. Bluets, whatever. I have so many tabs in here, which is very interesting. I do have some positive things here. So there were parts in here that I enjoyed. I just remember not loving it, and I thought I would, because this is meant to be Maggie Melson's musings, using the color blue as a tool to describe things like grief and love and pain, and I'm sorry, using emotions in a poetry collection. That's my problem. Also, that this is meant to be poetry. This is not poetry. I'm sorry. No, I went to school. I know the difference between poetry and prose. Putting numbers between them does not automatically make it poetry. I'm sorry. No. No. So I don't know. No. I didn't like the tone. I didn't love the tone. I just thought I would love this so much. The concept was incredible to me. Poetry about grief and love and loss and all of that. But their musings of the color blue, reflecting on these things and using blue as a tool and using color to describe emotion, conceptually perfect for me. In practice, I actually mentioned this in my I read Uncarly's favorite books video. I'll link that down below so that you can watch the whole video and see my proper thoughts on this, because I don't remember everything that I thought about this. I just remember being so disappointed that I wanted to like find a new favorite in this, and I thought a lot of the language was really crude, crass. What's the word I'm looking for? Just really, I'm not a prude. I'm really not. It's just some of this was just nah. So moving on. This might be one of my biggest disappointments, but it was Piranesi by Susanna Clark, and this was my first Susanna Clark book, and I was really excited because I heard really good things about her. I don't know if she has too many books, but I know she wrote the really big one about the magician. So what's it called? Mr. Norrell and Dr. Strange, Dr. Strange and Mr. Norrell, Dr. Norrell and Mr. Strange. I don't remember, something like that. And I was really excited to pick this up. I love the cover, by the way. It's beautiful. But I didn't enjoy this as much as I thought I would. Not that I hated it, I just didn't love it. I didn't dislike it, but I didn't like it. I was just so whatever that lack of emotion, I think, was the disappointment for me. But this follows this guy Piranesi, who lives in a very strange house. He's in a house, but this house is its own world. And we kind of follow that. And my problem with this book is that Piranesi is such a naive character that he, to me, was very unlikable. And then the plot twist in the end just took a lot of, took a lot of the wow factor out of it. Took a lot of the mystery and the magic out of it. I don't know, the whimsy, I suppose, the whimsy out of it. And I don't know. I just didn't see the point of this book. By the end, I was just like, okay, but why? Like, why? Not for me. And then this was a disappointment because, let me tell you what it is first. So Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Everything conceptually, again, all of these conceptually incredible. Like a whole world in a house, in a strange house. Let's go back to this one for a second. Some part of me sometimes wonders if I was just not smart enough to get this, because I understood, I had to look into some references, like why it was called Piranesi, and the labyrinth like structure of the house, and the relationship to that, to the actual historical figure Piranesi, whatever. All of that was really cool. That stuff was more interesting to me than the book. But just because an author knows a little bit more than me about something and then uses that information as interesting reference, does not make the story enjoyable for me. Doesn't make it adds a little something, but it doesn't. Okay, I'm done. This one. My problem with this one is that I really enjoyed the premise as, obviously, secret societies, dark academia, really weird shit happening, mysteries, solving crime, all that fun stuff. Cool. I didn't hate this, but it's just, by the time I got to the end, I was like, what happened? What? Some things I just found confusing, and they weren't clear, and I'd have to read things over and over. I'm like, am I just stupid? I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. I'm very smart, okay? Why don't I understand what you're trying to tell me happened? And I wonder if this was intentional, if a kind of blurriness, a vagueness was intentional to kind of allude to the fact that even the characters aren't fully sure what's happening. Maybe. But I think by the time I finished this, I reached the end, and then I realized I don't care. I don't care very much. I don't care to pick up the next book. And when the next book came out, I was just like, yeah. And I didn't dislike the reading experience. I thought the reading experience was enjoyable. I just remember then coming to a point where I'm like, I don't know. And I think this was too urban fantasy for me. I don't tend to love urban fantasy very much. If I'm going to get fantasy, I don't want to see a phone in sight. Don't give me technology. Okay, I'm done. Let me know if you've read any of these books, and let me know what your thoughts on them. And let me know, especially if you disagree with me, if you loved any of these books, tell me why. I would love to know. I'm very intrigued and interested to find out why you like them. Anyway, that concludes today's video. And if you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe, because that really helps me out a lot. And if you want more content, you can click either video on the screen, and I'll see you in the next one.